Welcome back to r/LegalAdvice, where people ask questions, get advice, and we get satisfaction. If you are new around here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, I got tricked into signing up for a $53,000 car loan. And guys, just a little warning at the start, this is a little bit of a mix-over between legal and financial advice. Either way, hey, my fiance and I purchased a 2009 Kia Sorento in May 2019 from a Kia dealership. It was our first car purchase. We did end up having some buyer's remorse for the following reasons. By the way, I am Canadian, but I converted all prices to US dollars. First, $231 bi-weekly, 84-month financing at 7.99%, high interest rate, long-term loan made me nervous, and payments were a wee bit above budget. By a wee bit, I mean more like a lot. Originally, we wanted to get a cheaper used car, budget around $20,000, but the $8,000 cashback offered by the dealer was a pretty attractive option at the time. That cashback was only available on the purchase of a brand new, more expensive car. The Sorento was valued at around $27,000. We paid off most of our credit card debt with that cash back. So I was making breakfast 2 days ago when I got a random phone call. I answered, and it was the Kia dealership that sold us our car 10 months prior. They were letting us know about low interest rate promotions they have going on.
You could qualify for a 0.99% interest rate if you're interested in trading in your car.
I was skeptical but kept an open mind. Going from 7.99% to 0.99% is a big jump worth looking into, in my opinion. I let them check our eligibility for this rate, and yes, we were eligible. They asked if we wanted to come in to know more and check out some models, so we decided to go in the next day. Fast forward to yesterday afternoon, we test drove a 2020 Kia Sportage SX Turbo. Going in, I was hoping that if we did decide to trade in our Sorento, it would be for a car cheap enough to keep our bi-weekly payments roughly the same. I did not feel great about looking into a trade-in so early in our financing due to the negative equity from the car we barely paid for. The dealership offered us only $17,500 for the Sorento. My question to them was, is rolling over that much money into a new loan really worth the crazy low interest rate? Their answer was yes, but I was still skeptical. They convinced me when they said that we would be paying down our principal much faster than with that 7.99% rate. More money goes to the car, less to the bank. I did not think we would be walking out of that dealership 3 hours later having signed a bill of sale and loan paperwork for that Sportage, but we sure did. So, on to my regrets. I rushed the decision. I told myself I wouldn't, but we were getting close to them closing for the day and I wouldn't have had time to come back for a little while. What if the deal was gone after a few days? I let them pressure me into making a choice right then and there. I should have slept on it. Second, we are now binded to a loan of $49,000 over 84 months, $280 bi-weekly at 1.85%. Apparently the bank could offer only 0.99% for loans less than 15k. 1.85% is still better than 7.99% though, right? That is an extra $93 a month out of our pockets, and we have reset to 84 months of payment ahead of us. Negative equity rolled over was around 13k. I think we should have waited at least 2 to 3 years before considering this to reduce the negative equity rolled over, but how much interest money were we throwing away with that 8% rate? I need some perspective. Are we complete idiots, or was there some sense in rolling over that much negative equity to slash our interest rate? Be as harsh as you need to be, I really need some guidance. We are feeling so stupid right now, but are we overreacting? For your info, we have not even driven this car off the lot yet. That is happening in 6 hours. Edit, if anyone has advice on talking to the dealership about backing out, I could use that too. I know that legally I don't have a leg to stand on, but I'm hoping to make something work. Update super detailed for anyone interested. So we spent roughly 4 hours at the dealership today. We went in there and first read through all the paperwork with the hopes of finding a significant error. The only thing that was weird was that in the loan paperwork under our expenses, the amount I pay for my apartment rental was written as $1. I had inquired about that before signing. She said that it does not really matter. The actual rent payment was put under my fiance's name, who was put down as the co-buyer in this thing. The sales manager came in and listened to what I had to say. He asked me what I want and I said that we would like to cancel the contract if at all possible. He said that he's willing to go ask his boss. A few minutes later he came back telling us that he did not notice that the loan had already been processed by the bank and that there's nothing they can do on their end. We told him we will give the bank a call then. By this point we expected some serious bluffing. While on hold with the bank we told him that we don't feel good about the slight increase of interest rate exposed to us right before signing. He replied by offering a $1,400 rebate, not part of loan, but I would have to make sure of that. He also added on free oil changes for life. We thanked him but expressed we would still like to cancel. We were on hold for almost 2 hours but finally got to a CSR. We explained our situation, gave our names and phone numbers, and he attempted to pull up the loan information. He found absolutely nothing and told us that a loan like this would not be processed in less than a day. We went back into the dealership to tell them that the sales manager showed us an official document from the bank itself showing details of the loan. That is when the GM came into the picture. He said that CSRs normally wouldn't have access to that kind of info so soon, so that is why the guy missed it. He was pretty stern, telling us that they are within their rights to refuse any sort of unwinding of contract, which we acknowledged as well, but that he's willing to sympathize with us. He explained why it is not as simple as just ripping up the contract and going about our separate ways. Here are his points. The way that registering a sold car works, we cannot register one and cancel that registration without the car's status permanently changed to used. The low interest rate that we offered you, we got from paying the bank that difference in interest from a typical rate like 5 to 6% out of our own pockets. If the car comes back to us as used, we cannot offer that same low interest deal to others, so we lose potential sales. Number 2, you were already in a not so great situation with your Sorrento. At an 8% interest rate, you are spending over $10,000 in interest over 7 years. Why not put that same amount of money into paying down principal faster? So as you can see, more sales tactics at play. My questions at that point: first, the only issue is the bank already processed the loan. Now it is also that they cannot unregister the car without penalties. Obviously they are trying to keep us locked in. I explained some more how I am feeling about this sale. Their general manager offered that we pay them $5,000 to offset their losses from undoing the registration, from prepping the car for possession, etc. We would get the contract voided and get our old car back, which they now own. That was his final word. The alternative? Keep the contract but with added incentives. $1,400 check. Difference between 1.85% and 0.99% interest rate, free oil changes for life, and a $1,000 Canadian dollar credit for servicing from them. I know that these incentives don't measure up to our losses from going through with this loan, so we don't want to go that route. We left the dealership telling them we need an extra day to think this through. We are still using the car we test drove as a loaner car for the time being, still haven't driven the new car, so hopefully it is not over yet. Guys, and I'm curious, if you were in this strange situation, what would you suggest to do? Let us know in the comments, and a person commented here, my only advice is that you never step foot in a car dealership for the rest of your life unless it is to unwind this deal. And another person responded in regards to, are we complete idiots? And then that guy said, I mean, that is neither here nor there, but this was a terrible decision, especially we are now binded to a loan of 69,000 Canadian dollars over 84 months. This means you will pay $70,000 over 7 years. At the end of 7 years, you will have a 7-year-old Kia. Today's 7-year-old Kia Sportages go for about $7,000 to $9,000 in private sale. In other words, you will have paid $70,000 for an asset worth 1/10 that. $63,000 is enough to save a down payment for a $300,000 house. This was a mistake. And by the way guys, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. Thank you so much in advance. And the next one is an update to the car loan story. We did it guys, my fiance and I managed to back out of this terrible loan 5 days after signing. Here's the full story of how this loan was unwinded if you are interested. The day after signing we went in and told them that we would like to cancel. We expressed our regrets with signing without giving it enough thought. I even told them how debilitating my anxiety can be, which contributed to me succumbing to the high pressure they give customers. They denied the high pressure and said that there was no reason for me to be anxious. I fought that point a little, but ultimately told them it was a mistake and that we would be so grateful if they could void the contract. The sales manager seemed disappointed, but okay to see if he can make that happen for us. He left to talk to his GM and came back 5 minutes later saying that he would cancel but cannot because the loan has gone through with the bank. Apparently there was nothing the dealership could do. Bewildered, we gave the bank a call to see if it actually works that way. After a 2-hour hold, we got to a CSR who told us that nothing would have gone through in less than 24 hours and that it is 100% not up to the bank to keep this loan in place. We went back to the sales manager and told him this. There was a lot of back and forth, obviously they were lying to us, and the GM came into the picture. The GM was very contradictory, going from saying,
"We made it clear to you that there's nothing in my power that can void this contract," to "Legally, I don't have to do anything for you."
He also reminded us that he now owns the car that we traded in. He pointed out how great of a car we signed up for, highest trim, sunroof, etc. When we told him that it is not about the car but about the loan, he tried to convince us that we were doing the math wrong and are not looking at the bigger picture, less interest payments. We expressed that we really don't want it. He gave us a deal, pay him $5,000 to get your old car back and cancel this loan. Or keep the contract but receive incentives and such as $2,000 rebate, free oil changes for life, etc. We told him we would think it over and come back tomorrow. We did not take delivery of the new car. The next day, Saturday, my fiance went in alone because I had to work. Taking the advice from fellow Redditors, we decided to go into offense mode. I had drafted a letter explaining our experience with them to be mailed to various consumer affairs agencies in our region. He went in with that letter. In the middle of the showroom, my fiance told the GM that we are willing to take the $5,000 deal to get our car back. This was a bluff, just wanted to see where it would take us. He asked the GM if we could have this deal written on paper so that we can have it looked over by our lawyer and ensure that we will get our car back. From this, we never actually had a lawyer. Taken aback, the GM said that he feels bad taking our money like that and went on to encourage us to keep the new car. By this point, my fiance was getting pissed and raised his voice. He told the GM that in no way is this car deal good for us and that he would like him to stop trying to shove it down our throats. He told him that a lower interest rate does not mean crap if we are getting ripped off $20,000. He pulled out the letter, told him that we will be contacting these agencies and that we will be going forward with a lawyer. He also mentioned that all conversations since the day before have been recorded. The GM chuckled and told him to do whatever he wants. All this was happening in the showroom with many employees watching in silence. The GM kept saying,
"Let me figure something out for you. Don't stress, man."
And my fiance stormed out. Outside the dealership, in plain view of the people inside, he took multiple photos of the new car and of a misleading ad sign they had for
1 year of car insurance on us.
The GM ran out to him and said,
"I didn't want to say this in front of them, but I do want to cancel this for you. Just give me till Monday, because the banks are closed tomorrow. I gotta make some calls and pull some strings. Trust me, I'll do what I can. Don't stress."
Fast forward to Tuesday morning, we went into the dealership expecting the GM to make up another reason to keep us locked in. To our pleasant surprise, we were welcomed by their finance director, who took us into her office and offered us two options. Keep the car contract, but with bi-weekly payments reduced to $371 Canadian bi-weekly from $389 with a slightly lower interest rate, or cancel the contract but pay $1,200 Canadian for the new car restocking fee and servicing that had already been done on our old car. We paid them the $1,200 and drove off in our old car, taking that as the price to pay for our bad decision. It was important for me to write all this out for anyone in the future who finds themselves in this situation. There's hope, and if you stand your ground, you have a chance to get out of a bad car deal. I think it helped that we initially acknowledged our responsibility in this instead of putting all the blame on them. This was a big life lesson for us, and I'm kinda glad to have gotten that lesson early in life. We are in our early 20s. My parents saw nothing wrong with this car deal. That was a big eye-opener for me. Many older adults just are not smart with money, and I don't want to be like that. We will soon be looking into refinancing our current car, pay it down, and not even think about getting rid of it before we break even. And the last one is a little bonus, not related to legal advice, but it is a story posted on our own subreddit by the lovely Mama-san, and it is titled The Saga of My Parents' House Part 3. My sweet ripe has the rights again. We start with a little malicious compliance. My mom loved gardening and wanted as many cute critters as we could bring in by feeding them. As an avid hunter, Dad did not want any bleep critters in his yard. Mom made Dad put up several bird feeders and began pestering for places for bunnies, squirrels and turtles. At first Dad dragged his feet on doing what she desired. Finally he gave in and said he would need to research to get the best feeding stations for her precious garden. He set 3 hummingbird feeders at 4 to 6 foot height about the yard near the flower beds. He placed an oversized bird feeder about 20 feet in the air with a smooth metal pipe over the support, and it was the center of the yard to keep squirrels away. He placed 3 different squirrel feeders about 12 to 10 feet high in the trees. He set a concrete slab close to the swampy edge of the property. Now the maliciousness did not become evident until late spring, when a few hunting buddies were visiting. They griped a bit at how stupid it was to invite critters so close to your home by setting up feeding stations. Dad's answer was, "It's a hawk feeding station," just as a pair of fledgling hawks came screaming in. One landed on the bird feeder and the other one on one of the squirrel feeders. The young hawks looked confused when all the critters vanished. Dad smiled, his buddies laughed, and Mom glared. And guys, I don't know about you, but I think we should start a petition or something that Mama-san should not stop writing stories. Don't get me wrong, I love everybody who's writing stories on r/ripe stories, but you just gotta love Mama-san, the entitled Navy diva bred with the amazing family. But that is exactly what I love about this community. I appreciate everyone who's writing stories on r/ripe stories, and I also appreciate everyone who is still commenting, and some even started around 2019 and still watch my videos. That really makes me proud to have built such an awesome community, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I see you again tomorrow.